This is not your normal discussion where we talk all about the hard topics uncensored. This is not your normal discussion. This is not your normal discussion. Great. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Not Your Normal Discussion. I am Queen Pedii.
I'm Suge. Nice to meet y'all.
I'm Nina.
How's it going?
What's your name? I can't.
Couldn't hear you, Tristan.
Yeah,
Oh.
I can't hear.
Can you not hear me at all?
I can hear you now.
That's why.
Ooh.
Oh, now y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, again, it's Tristan, Trist. Either way.
Awesome. All right, so this show is just to talk about hard topics, uncensored, unfiltered, and our opinions. So you don't have to take it to heart. You don't have to agree with us, but it's how we feel.
I hope you take it to heart. I'm gonna say that now.
You said you're gonna take it to heart.
No, I hope people that listen take some of this stuff to heart. You're gonna need to hear some of this, people.
Woo.
We're touching topics that people scared to talk about. So y'all gonna take this to heart. Mind and spirit too.
Yes. All right. So our first topic is going to be talking about how Boosie is just obsessed with Lil Nas X. It's like his mind. He's Helga Pataki. That's who.
No, he's gay. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm a very strong advocate for the LGBTQ community. My wife, she's bisexual. She's very active in the community as well. So, I understand it. He's gay. He's gay. And it's obvious.
Yeah.
It's very obvious. You have a guy that, and I'm a Boosie fan. Like, I go back to the youngest in the camp, or like, I'm really a Boosie fan. Growing up in the hood, that's what we listen to.
Okay.
So to see this guy, I don't even like to see this guy, whoever this guy is, because this is not the Boosie I grew up with.
Gotcha.
He's gay. Because he's worried way too much about what this little kid is doing.
Yeah.
I think he's just mad that you got Lil Nas X out here being himself, letting everybody else, see who he is.
Yeah.
And everybody knows, hey, Lil Nas X, gay, period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you don't care. Then you got Boosie over here. He trying to probably try to dip his toes or, undercover it. But he's probably mad because he's in this box that he made for himself. And he can't get out, and he doesn't want to lose the money, or he doesn't want to lose the fans, and so probably a way to kind of get into that, and he's probably just pissed off and jealous.
Yeah.
I don't even necessarily just like the fans, because I like Boosie, especially Boosie now doesn't strike me as caring so much about the fans. I think he's developed his whole concept of manhood and what it means to be straight, especially in like the hood or the Black community, around a certain identity. Like, if you remember everything that came out with him talking about him and his kids and the grown women, you remember all that. He talked about making sure that his kids would turn out straight. And one of his complaints with Lil Nas X that was kind of revealing was when he said, hey, Lil Nas X is up there dancing naked and everything like that is making it hard for men to be out here being straight, and that one day there might not be no straight kids. So it's almost like self-policing of like what is manhood and what is straightness and what is masculinity and what is like being a real man, especially for a Black man, is under threat to Boosie. And this concept of, if too many people start realizing they may not be as straight as they think, what will Black society and the world look like?
Yeah. Well, I will agree with you about, well, I agree with everybody. Let me be real. I agree with everyone. I do think he is undercover. Something happened to him when he was in jail, and he liked it, and he's mad that he liked it. And he is appeasing to his fans. He's making sure that, these people that are hardcore, like gay people are bad, he's making sure that that fan base is always going to be coming towards him, but he's not hitting it right. If you know what I mean by that, like, because those fans are not taking him to success. He was mad at them he only sold like 300 albums or 300, like, was it 300 albums? I believe it was.
Nah, I think it was like 300,000 or something like that.
Okay.
But that's a low number.
It was a low number.
Comparatively speaking.
And it's like, where are all those people that were on your live, saying, yeah, Boosie, where are they? They're not buying your stuff. They're not buying your movie.
Yeah, the movie is trash. The movie is trash.
You said the movie.
Oh man,
I don't know what the movie is about. I know.
It's supposed to be a story of Boosie. I think it's supposed to be Boosie's story. I've never seen an autobiography made by a person that the person made the biography, made the movie, and it just seems so bad and wrong.
Well, was he a director? Actually direct the movie?
Yes, he wrote, he directed it. By the way, his manager is gay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I had a conversation with his manager actually about this whole Boosie Nas X thing on Instagram. I had a whole drawn conversation because I asked him, I was like, how do you feel being gay?
Yeah.
And like, this is your man, like this is your homie, this is the guy that you're getting money for, just dogging your community. Oh, it's not really like that, and he really loves gay people. It's just he doesn't like the overrule, and I can agree. I don't like Nas's overabundance of gayness. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's more than I genuinely think he.
Just to shock people.
Yeah, he's not that.
It is shock value, but I enjoy it because I'm into like artsy anyway. Like I like shit like that, and I don't know. I just like subjective. So funny.
I consider what he does as just a way to make money. Because I asked a gay person, one of my homies, Desi, I asked him, like, what does he think of Lil Nas X? And he flat out, he said that man is gay for pay.
Yeah.
He said as a gay man,
gay for pay though.
He's gay. Yeah, and I believe that happens more often than not in the industry. So I'm inclined.
I think he's gay. Like I think he.
Think about this. Think about this, right?
His daddy didn't want him at first because of him being gay. He had to sleep on his sister's couch because of that.
I agree with all of that. But do you want to know where you also have heard a story like that?
Where?
In a lot of movies.
True, but a lot of movies, life imitates art, art imitates life. So
where is the border that separates the two? Who's to say that you cannot fabricate an entire artist to see? Japan does it all the time. They created an entire genre of virtual female pop stars. They're not even human.
Oh yeah, I know about that. Yeah.
So who's to say that you can't do the same thing here? You can't create a guy who's like, okay, we don't really want to push the gay agenda as they say that there's supposed to be one, right? But we do want to bank off of the gay population and rap.
Yeah.
Why not create a gay artist? Because I'm not saying Lil Nas X is not gay. I'm not saying that at all.
I know you're not, but it's funny. It's still funny. I'm sorry.
When the gay people,
Lil Nas X character is over the top. Wow.
Yeah.
Montero is a whole different person.
But
I think that's the point. Like, especially since Lil Nas X when he first came out, he wasn't openly being flamboyant with it, but once he was outed for his
he was wearing cowboy clothes.
Yeah, with the shimmers.
He was pretty open about
it. Very open. I knew he was gay when I saw him in that pink cowboy outfit with
The
the
moment I heard Old Town Road,
it still wasn't openly
okay.
until like people like really out of his
Yeah.
account, like started, and then especially with all the backlash he was starting to get, he was like, especially with that whole Terror video, he was like, all right, you say gay people are going to hell, you say this, that, and the other about us, demonizing us, I'm gonna really take it there. So I feel like he knows how to troll. He knows how to troll to the fullest extent. He's of the generation that's built for this. And he says, the more you say, the more I'm gonna come out in your face and rep for people who haven't had this, like represent them, so that no matter what happens to me, there'll be more people more okay to express themselves going forward. So like,
Now,
But can I say one thing though? Like everybody is like harping on the fact that Lil Nas X does like all this off the wall stuff. But why didn't people do the same to Elton John? Yeah, I mean, like Elton John is like this icon who could wear bird feathers. And I mean,
you want to know why they didn't do that to Liberace and Elton John and Little Richard? Because they came out and they said, look, this is me. And actually was Little Richard, from the stories you get of him, that is really him.
Yeah.
He's really a very flamboyant, very loud, very southern young gay male. Well, dead now, but you know what I mean. At that time, that's what he was. He was that. That was just him in real life. Same thing with Liberace. Liberace was a flashy individual all the time. It wasn't just for the cameras. When you catch Lil Nas X outside of being Lil Nas X, whatever his name is, being that person, it's very opposite.
Well, not all the time,
because total counter to the culture that he's pushing out. And to be real, he's not really representing a culture.
He's representing himself. That's it. Like,
again, I can't speak for gay people, but like I said, what he does do is beyond him. Like, so the things that he does, like dancing, pole dancing, having naked guys in his videos, I mean, you can argue it's for shock value, but at the same time, I'm sure he also enjoys it. It's just the same way when you go out to party, it may not be the same energy you always have all the time in your life. I feel like for his videos, he's creating this year for him to enjoy and like be fully to the max of his self-expression, and then his life is way more down, especially considering the fact that he needs bodyguards because of how many people are threatening him.
Does he really need bodyguards though?
Yeah.
No. Okay, I know what the media says, but does he really? Do you really think people are really trying to run up on Lil Nas? Do you even think Lil Nas is putting himself in places to where he's getting run up on?
Yeah, you can get run up on just going to your car.
You can, but here's what I mean. He's not going to be he's not living in a neighborhood that is, he's not going to get in them gates. But they're going to protect, he's.
Go ahead.
All right, I'll use, just to switch gears, we're going to get back. I'll use the boy Tekashi 6ix9ine for example. Mm-hmm. He was a character, and I've said that from day one.
Oh, definitely.
He was the first example of what Lil Nas X is. Can we create characters in hip hop?
Yeah.
If we can control the image fully, we can build the image from ground up, pick this nobody from nowhere, grab him, have these people write these songs, have these people make these beats, and create the image that we want. We can fully control the music the way we want to. We can finally make the music we want the people to have. So when you see how Tekashi went through everything, he went through his gang stuff, now he's snitching, he's police, all that. It played out like a movie would. And now Lil Nas X's career is playing out like a movie would. But the quintessential hood superstar is going to disrespect the little young boy coming up trying to change rap culture. And then give it about 5 years, Boosie is going to be his best friend.
I would hope that the end result is they can come together and do something and, be cordial, at least be cordial. But at this point, with his toxic masculinity going on, it's not looking that way because
It's not that
anytime you
toxic.
tell
If
somebody
your
to commit
manager,
suicide, like that's kind of
the
a
person who makes you money, the person who controls where you go, what you do, your handler is a gay man.
But
You're not, you don't have anything against gay people. You are literally, your money's being made out of
what? Let's talk. Actually, I mean, there are white people who do not like Latinos. They don't like them, but they work for them.
But you know what they won't do?
What?
They won't put them in a position to control how and where they make money. They'll work for them. They wouldn't hire a Latino or a Black as their manager. They hire them as an assistant. They will never give you the title of manager. They wouldn't. You want to know why? Because guess what? They have to sit there within themselves. They truly hate those type of people. They have to sit there and say, I'm okay with this nigger, this wetback telling me what to do. I'm okay with that. And I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to do it. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. You're making me money. If you're helping me make a lot of money,
I'm going to be nice.
I'm not going to be worried about who you are.
That's not how true racism or bigotry works. That's not how true racism or bigotry works. When you hate on that level, that you hate a person for the way that your skin color looks because of where you are from. Oh, at that point, you will do nothing to help them advance as a person. You will always keep them under your heel. So you wouldn't put them in a position of management, superior, anything that shouts superior or superiority over me. I wouldn't put you. If I was racist, I would not put somebody I'm racist towards in a position higher than mine.
And I
always be right under.
I see what you're saying.
So if you hate gay people the way that you hate gay people, this man swears he hates Lil Nas. But the man,
what about Zaya Wade?
Listen,
what about her?
First of all, I'm going to say this. I don't believe that children should be turning trans. I believe that they should learn more about it before they get to that point. When you get to an age of, say, like 15, 16, and you've learned about it, but not like at 9, 10 years old.
Well, some people, I mean, I knew I was bi at 8. I knew that. I knew I liked girls and I knew I liked boys at 8. So you know what your sexuality is.
That's fine. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that, for example, I have a son. And I've always said, no matter who my son chooses to love, as long as he is who he wants to be, not who they're telling him to be, love however you choose.
Well, I don't think they're telling Zaya Wade to be trans because they've been saying that this girl has been saying, I'm a girl since she was 5. So and they thought, she was going to just grow out of it. She's just, saying things. That's what they thought at first. She's just saying things. But no, once that 11 hit, she's like, no, I am a girl.
And actually, I forgot where I read it, but I read that the brain, you actually have a female brain in a male body. There's some organ and it just be in the wrong.
And I believe that. But what I mean by they shouldn't be trans at that age, it's not your mentality. It's not what you feel you are. I genuinely just don't believe that you should make that decision. It's like saying, okay, if you believe that your child can be trans at 8 or 9, and like you knew that you were bi, would you be okay with your child pursuing relationships in that fashion?
Yeah, but
at that age?
That's my point. If you're not,
I mean, I didn't have no boyfriend or girlfriend at that age. Well,
so why should you be? Okay, this is what my sexual orientation, my gender identity is. Now you can have those thoughts and you can express them to your parent and they can teach you about it. But once you start getting into, okay, I have hormones, my mind and my body, my spirit might be feeling connection in that way, then okay, now you start identifying as what you are. But before you start engaging in that type of activity, you shouldn't be identifying anything.
So 13 is
I don't
what you're
teach.
saying.
I don't teach my
Because
kids.
that's when hormones start to pop in. 13. That's when
I said
sperm
between
come
like
in. Actually, for some women, 9. Because some
I
start their
know.
period
I
at
know.
9.
I
Hormones,
know.
boobs. I knew a girl in school. She was fully shaped, and we were 10. She had a
I
full
can
shape.
see, but you're talking of the physical sense.
I
mean,
know, but that's what hormone. When you're talking about hormones, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
okay,
that's what the hormones can do to you.
yeah, I know what they
what
can
it's
do
for.
physically to you.
Mhm. Yeah,
You can
but
jump.
I can't hear you.
Can't hear you at all, Tristan.
Damn. Can you hear me now?
Are you covering the mic?
As far as I know, no. But let me put some under it so that I'll be. But yeah, I just wanted to say like a couple things. Y'all can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So one with we're talking about the manager and Boosie being okay with gay. We also gotta be careful, especially with straight people, that when we're talking about like especially as cis hetero people for the most part. Not all of us, but you know what I mean. When we're talking about policing how gay or how queer someone should be expressing around us. A lot of us talk about like, like, hey, that flamboyantly gay, like keep that over there, like, and that's still a form of like
Policing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like in the same way when like white people are like, oh, you're one of the good blacks, so like, don't bring that nigga shit around me. Like we gotta, in the same time, we gotta. Oh, because a lot of that, like Boosie might have a gay manager, but if the gay manager's like, oh, I'm not flamboyant around him, it's like
No, he's flamboyant.
Yeah. But how flamboyant? Like,
Okay, so have you guys seen the preview clips that they were using as promotion, the trailer for the movie?
No.
Okay, the trailer of the movie. I know I'll send you the link. Hopefully, we can show it in this video later. But the promotion for the video.
I'll take it out.
The trailer is literally his manager, which is one of the gay dudes, and his gay friend. They're in jail, booty shorts, ass all out, everything all cut up. And they're talking about Boosie in the jail, like, oh, I don't know why he's so mad. It's literally just focused on these two gay dudes. The whole trailer. That's what made me ask his manager. I'm like, my first question was, why is the promotion for this movie about Boosie's life focused on this gay scene in this movie? Oh, it's not focused on that. This is the only trailer anyone's seen. I don't know what the other parts of the movie were about before I saw it. I was like, is this like a prison movie? Is Boosie trying to tell us something? You know what I'm saying?
I think when he woke up 5 in the morning talking about penis, I knew.
Yeah, see, but I've noticed that a lot of New Orleans culture is very sexual and gender fluid.
Yes.
It's just inbred in their culture. So it's not. I think Boosie's fighting his natural New Orleans blood. That's what that is. His natural Louisiana ways might be like, I'm feeling this. That's what I like, and I don't know how to admit. He might genuinely really want to get up on Lil Nas X.
That's what everybody keeps saying.
For example, speaking on trans, like in trans women and the fatality rate for or the life expectancy for especially Black trans women, and the reason why so many times it's like Black men ending up killing trans women is because they might want to do some sexual things, but they'll want to keep it on the low because, oh, what if my boys hear about it? What if people see me in a different light? What if now they consider me gay? Or like even I don't know who was it, if it was Dave Chappelle making a joke talking about like interacting with this trans woman sexually and like not wanting to like go all the way, but it's like, well, the titties at least look real, so I'm at least like
okay, yeah, that joke. I know what she's talking about. Yeah.
So this like, well, how gay is and how straight is, especially for like Black masculinity. This is why a lot of people say masculinity is a prison. That like Black men turn violent when like it's like, oh, are you gay? Or oh, why are you so interested? And like That might be wrestling that Boosie is doing, but that's why we need to put more care for people like Lil Nas X, because Boosie's either gonna have to unlearn that on his own at some point,
He's
or
like, that's not
That ain't gonna happen.
that's not happening. He's gonna have to accept that he's gay.
yeah.
But
So just keep fucking those men behind closed doors.
I don't know. I just
Speaking of Dave Chappelle, because that was a nice segue. Supposed to be dope ass segue.
yes.
And his allegedly transphobic
Wait.
1 hour rant.
Can I have a show of hands of who actually watched the special?
I watched most of it.
Okay.
I
So
enjoyed it. Every last bit of it.
I mean, I just need to know what happened.
Why do you have to separate? This is my thing. Okay. Dave Chappelle has never been a light joke type of guy.
Yeah.
Anybody that's ever watched Dave Chappelle stand up knows Dave Chappelle stand up is pretty fucked up. Like one of his most legendary lines is about a crack baby in Washington, D.C. at 3 a.m. No one batted a fucking eye. No one said anything. No one was like, that's terrible. Boycott him. There should be help in the hood. Well, because a few, and I'm going to keep it very real, white trans got mad. They're making it a whole issue. When there's comedians that I watch on Facebook, on my timeline, that say way worse things than that about trans, about gay, about black. And it's just like, yeah, he dwelled too long. He definitely dwelled too long on that one topic. But it wasn't like it wasn't funny, which is the point of the comedy.
Yeah. My only thing is that, like, yeah, the special was mostly funny except for the Space Jews part. Kept trying to make them a thing. He brought it back, and it was funnier at the time he brought it back, but it was still like, all right. But what's the message is the point, and like, sure, so a lot of jokes like, is it one day after me or multiple days, or like, oh, I mean, it'd be one thing if it was a trans man next to me in a urinal backing up, and I would just think that's a service member now whose biscuit got blown off on IED. Like those are funny situational jokes, but when you look at the whole thing overall, where he calls himself a TERF, he calls himself transphobic, he relates himself to J.K. Rowling as a like, well, what's the problem with me? Y'all got this bitch making another 3 Fantastic Beast movies, and y'all got the problem with me. And
does she still own Harry
still,
Potter? She still owns it? I
yeah.
thought she sold it.
Nah, like she's working with Warner Brothers, and so like she has, unless they work out some new deal for the next 3 movies, so that her personal conduct doesn't like fuck shit up.
Yeah.
He made sure she had control. She's probably got one of the last deals that will ever be that good, just because of how everything's turned out with this. Yeah. But look at the message of one that's kind of erasing black trans people in all of this discussion, and then even with the whole thing with Daphne, his friend, that he kind of like, you know how white people like Joe Biden has Obama as his best black friend or black best friend. He kind of uses Daphne as a best trans friend, and uses her to kind of say, look, I might be considered transphobic, but I don't hate trans people. Yeah. I'm just with my closest friend, and y'all kind of killed her when she came to defend me.
They did kill her. I mean, made her commit suicide. Like that's the worst thing that you can do, is bully somebody to jump off a building. Like, do you know how bad it has to be that you have to be like, I'm going to take one of the most painful ways out. Not even take like medicine, because that's not painful. From experience, it's not painful. But actually physically hurting yourself, because you're still alive even after you hit that ground. So
your body tries to tell you like, don't do it. Mm-hmm. And you physically, emotionally have to tell yourself no, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. And you got to fight your demons and just let yourself, because that's what it does is when you want to jump or cut yourself or any kind of harm to your body is reacting and telling you, do not do this. Do not do it. Do not do it. It even gives you pain just so you won't do it. And just to have somebody do that to that point, it's
disgusting. Like, y'all, that's disgusting. Just because you said, look, this man is not transphobic like y'all think he is. I mean, where's the outrage for the space Jews joke? Because I was called, what's the word for when you hate Jews?
Funny joke, but like my biggest thing is like I wouldn't even put the blame for Daphne's death on, let's say, the community.
No, I would, because they terrorized that woman. Like, if they had not terrorized her and sent her messages, death threats, all that stuff, she wouldn't have jumped off that building. She would have still been doing her comedy show.
But remember, like in the same situation for Black supporters of Trump or something like that.
Oh, Jesus.
At the end of the day, if they kill themselves, we wouldn't, or if they self-aborted, let me not,
are people in their messages?
Like, we wouldn't be then like, well, it's on us that Ruckus like self-aborted and took himself out the game. They'd be like, well, at the end of the day, where was this person to come to their defense to help them? And like, at the end of the day, for Dave to be as close as he was to Daphne and kind of just let her take those slings. At the end of the day, you could say on one hand,
he did tell them to stop though, but he can't control other people. If people are like, no, I want to keep doing this, they're gonna keep doing it. Like, it's their prerogative to keep making it hard for a person who does not think the same way that they do. That's why I'm gonna be honest, I didn't mess with the MAGA people. I may have written articles, but I didn't mess with them. You know, I'm not under their picture saying you're a bitch because you like Trump. Like, I didn't do that. Like, I leave people alone.
They both voted for Trump.
Yeah.
And my friend, I was like, my aunt, I was like, because she wear the hat, she's all dressed, and I'm like, okay, well, either way, I love you, but we can't talk politics. And me and my husband, that was actually in our vows that we could talk about everything but politics. But when I found out he voted for him, I'm like, I had to bite my tongue, and I'm like, you know, I'm Hispanic.
Yeah.
You ain't getting no food for a while.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Because he was starving forever. I'm sorry.
All right, I have a very unpopular opinion, so I'm gonna prefix this with a trigger warning. Go and take your drinks, whatever you need to.
All right.
I believe that it is not the fault of the people or someone who commits suicide.
Okay.
I understand that she was bullied. I have been in her shoes. I have been bullied. I have genuinely tried to take myself out, but I will honestly say it was because I was weak. When I got to it, look, there's only two ways it could have went. I could have died or I could have survived. And I survived. And it made me realize I gave people the power to make me want to end my own life. That is a form of submission that I cannot allow myself to ever have again. So I do understand, and for Daphne's family, I send my condolences, good energy, but it is not the fault of the people that bullied her. They did not make her do that. They did not put a gun to her head. They did not force her. She felt bad for whatever she said. And instead of seeking help, instead of ignoring, and it's hard, instead of fighting back, it's hard. She chose, made a conscious decision in her mind to walk up them stairs, get on top of that building, and jump. That is not the fault of the people. This is the issue with today's society. We got so, us as Black people especially, we've gotten so needy for some sort of acceptance. Everybody has needed some acceptance, and the world is not that way. I've never thought this world was built on acceptance. Everything that we have, every technological advance was originally an act of war. It was not an act of acceptance. The fact that we can do these Zoom calls was originally technology designated so soldiers can communicate on the battlefield while they're taking out the enemy. The world is not built on acceptance, but somehow we've gotten into this bubble. We can't have our feelings hurt anymore. We can't. Instead of fighting back, we want to complain. And then we want to blame someone else for how we feel about what they said. If I feel bad about something someone says to me, I have 3 options, and I always choose one. I'm going to go address it. I can ignore it, or I can let it destroy me. It is sad when someone commits suicide. It is one of the worst things on this earth, because you have to shut off every part of your brain that is naturally made to defend you from dying, to go through with it. That is psychopathic. That is a torture upon yourself. That is no human can torture you worse than that. That you literally are taking yourself out. That is a decision you make. You can't choose. No one can make you do that except in extenuating circumstances. But in every average situation, yes, words hurt. Yes, actions hurt. But there's always another choice.
True, but like we don't know what else they were doing to her, because they could have easily been stalking her. They could have been doxing her. They could have been doing a lot more than that, because it had to be more than just words on Twitter, because you can block people. I believe they doxed her and they made her life hell. They probably went to her shows and did really rude shit.
But listen to what you said. You said they doxed her. That's a technological term. You know what you can do? Turn that shit off.
I don't know if you could turn off being doxed if somebody has your address and they send it, or I mean, like,
if you willing to sit there and write me a letter, sure. Go write the fucking
letters. I don't think they were writing letters.
Go ahead and write a letter.
You can be picked on to the point where you want to just totally end it. Because I mean, I've been there. I was there in high school. I was there in college. I was just there. Like I was there probably like 2015. 2015? No, 20, whatever. 2012. There we go. I was there. And like sometimes it can be like the smallest thing, because it may not have just been them, but other things that were also going on in her life, and them converging on her like that, it probably just, it broke her. Sometimes you just have a mental break.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, for me, one thing, the reason I don't come at the community for coming at her on it is because in the same way Black people, when we're roasting someone, like it's an in-community thing when we're
But this wasn't a roast, you know?
I mean, her for basically
they were death threats.
Who wanted to stand in between them and Dave Chappelle. And so they went through her. And like, yes, there's a lot of pain that she probably was going through, but I also want to speak on that pain that can drive people to self-abort. You know, like mental illness is a serious thing, and especially in like with the capitalist society that we have, where we don't really have social safety nets for people. Like, yes, as much support as we can give people, like at the end of the day, some people will regardless, still do what they feel they need to. But think about how much options have to close in your mind. Like how many doors have to close in your mind for you to be like, through is out of here. The only way through is, farewell.
I mean, it can
A
happen.
million and one things, and you choose a million and two.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a real human option for you to be like, especially with trans people, where they have less access to what you call it,
Yeah.
and then less access to employment. Where like in 20 states, you can still just be fired for being trans,
Yeah.
like no protection because you're not a protected class. So like, there's a reason why trans people have such a low life expectancy. That's something we should take into consideration. But we also need to make sure, like right now, we're making a focus about Daphne and the community rather than what you call it. In the same way that like when we're speaking about Chappelle, it's even bigger than Chappelle. It's like again, the special was funny, but what is the message and what does it lead the conversation to? And even the conversation we're having now, like we're focusing more so on like is the community to blame or like whether or not Daphne was strong enough or not. When the conversation should be like the reason why what Dave was saying is problematic is because he's trying to justify it as not punching down to speak on this oppressed class and somehow having some level of surpassing black people. When if you're like to me, Dave's perfect world would be we all just joke on each other and like like it'd be okay if white people said nigga, it'd be okay if black people call them crackers, it'd be okay if
They had 400 years to say nigga. So nah, they can't say it.
Yeah, I'm good on that one.
Y'all had 400 years, actually more than 400 years of saying nigga to us.
Let's keep cracking. Don't be getting no ideas.
Exactly.
Dave's perfect world. Like, don't come at me for making jokes about y'all. You can make jokes about me, but let's just keep it a joke. I think that's Dave's world, and we gotta realize, like, sure, I'm sure in some future utopia where like we have equity across the world, that'd be great. But like right now, like what did he speak on? Like he didn't make a joke saying like, oh well, like for example the baby thing. Like they came for the baby, but there's always been violence in hip hop. He didn't make a conversation. Hey, that's been a psyop from back in the '90s where the CIA was pushing the music industry to like push gangster rap over like political rap so that it would go from fight to power to like and all so that they can fund building more private prisons and stuff like that. He didn't make it like, and that's the thing that Dave is starting to move away from. Like his social commentary is more so like on the people attacking me versus like, well, you want me to punch up, who shall I be punching up at?
But he also has every right to talk about what he wants as long as he, as long as he doesn't totally cross the line. You know what I mean? Like
what's crossing the line in comedy?
Just being like, okay.
What's crossing the line?
Okay, so let's say a white person, a white comedian. Okay, or no, actually, I'm not even gonna say nothing about the race thing. Let's talk about a man or a woman comedian making a joke about raping a person. That's crossing the line. That's totally.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have heard some very funny rape jokes.
That shit ain't funny. It ain't funny to me. I'm
It
sorry.
is not.
The minute I hear a rape joke,
so have you laughed at a joke about murder?
No.
You've never laughed at a joke about someone getting killed?
No.
Ever.
No.
So wait. Better question. Who are you? What's your top? Who are y'all top 5 go-tos for comedians?
Like Fluffy.
Who?
Fluffy.
Yes, Gabriel Iglesias.
Okay.
Yes, he is one of them. But I would put him at like number 3 though. For me, he's number 3.
Okay.
Let's see.
My number 1. He's 40.
He's my number 1. I don't know. I know Dave Chappelle's in there. Because every time he come out, I'm here. Chris Rock.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah. No, I was gonna say Chris Rock can be funny. It's just I think we're reaching a point where like
that's hilarious.
Aged in where they're at. like and stuff like things. Like,
see, the point I'm trying to make is that the comedians we watch make raunchy, terrible, crazy jokes all the time. The only reason they're picking or they're trying to, they need a target. There's no actual, like, you know, for the 90s we had gangster rap. That was the target.
Yeah.
We're gonna gangster rap this, the bane of our existence. 2000s, you actually had gangs. Gangs came back. They had a target. Okay, cool. Doing terrorism. There's gangs in the country. Want to take out gangs, take out terrorism. 2010 brought back drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's on opioids. We got to stop that. They don't have a target for the 2020s. So they're just trying to find, oh, wait, what do you say about gay people? You know what? He's a target. Oh, what do you say about women in your comedy act? You're a target. But there's comedians, white comedians, all the cis, hetero, white male comedians all the time that make jokes about child molestation.
And see, that's not cool. Like, if I heard that, I wouldn't listen to him.
But no one,
I was gonna say,
no one reports them. No one bats an eye. No one gets mad. There's no uproar. But when it comes to black, Hispanic, anybody that is not of that non-melanated state, it's a problem. Like Arab comedians, they get a lot of flack for any type of terroristic jokes.
Yeah.
They stop making them. But they make a lot of good, funny jokes about being terrorist. But there's a whole Jeff Bridges. I love Jeff Bridges.
Okay.
One of my favorite comedians.
The man with the puppets. Okay.
Entirely racist.
Segment I hated was
every single one of them is racist. Every single one of them. The dead terrorist, the jalapeno on a stick.
Okay.
The fucking purple one, he's supposed to be black. Then you actually have the gangster go-to black dude.
Yeah, wait, is his name Jeff Bridges or Jeff Dunham?
Jeff Dunham. There.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I don't think it's Bridges. I'm sorry.
Is it Jeff? No,
it's Jeff Dunham. But okay, and I will agree with you, but you know what? I know that we didn't have social media really around that time where we could be like, hey, no, this isn't cool, because now that we have social media, a lot of more messages can get out where it's like, hey, this is bad, this isn't cool, this was wrong, and it gets shared and shared, because negative stuff will get shared faster than something that's positive, which is kind of how, you know, this Dave Chappelle thing worked out in a way, because instead of people actually watching all the way through and seeing what this was really about, they just picked the one little thing and then didn't even have the context beforehand, where he even said with the whole the baby thing that he cringed. He was like, I cringed when he said it because I knew he fucked up. He was wrong. And it's like, no, they didn't put that part in there. Because when I saw the clips, I was like, wait, let me look at this special to make sure before I go ahead and be like, no, he said something wrong. No, I'd always look at both sides. I always get both sides of something, because I don't want to be like, oh, I'm just following the leader. I'm not following the leader. I'm following me. So, yeah.
And my thing is, they don't even talk about the Chappelle show, which has a lot of over the top wild segments and skits. Like, I don't think there was a skit show on television that had more controversial skits than the Chappelle show. So why y'all surprised? Like, and to segue from your internet statement to this other guy, because I kind of dread wanting to talk about it. I want to say this. If we're going to get on Dave Chappelle for the things that he says and try to actually cancel him, like an act of force, get petitions and all that, then I need to see a lot more effort in trying to cancel our fucking Kelly. I hope he dies in jail. I hope he gets raped.
Oh, he will.
I genuinely, yes, I do. He is a terrible. I have been saying this since I was 12 years old. He's a terrible human being.
But like, you know me, I'm all about prison abolition. So like the way prison exists for like people to just be like caged with monsters and whatever the monsters do, sees what the monsters do. Like, let's say R. Kelly gets out and he's like same thing with Bill Cosby. But let's say R. Kelly gets out 5, 10, 20 years later and he's still a monster and like, well, all his stuff that you could have caged him for like is already past and he's just being a monster out here now. He's like, I'm gonna die soon anyway, so whatever. But like before I even go further into that, I will say the Dave Chappelle thing. Let's not forget that he walked away from $50 million all the way to Africa when he got the impression that white people weren't laughing with him,
They were laughing
at him. But when it comes to this situation, especially because a lot of this feels like just mad at how people reacted to the Sticks and Stones special, he's not extending that same grace to realizing why people, especially you can say what you want about like white feminists or even the white queer community borrowing things off of the black community or the black queer community. But let's not also forget the black queer community who's also feeling like what he might be doing is also at their expense. In the same way that he felt like he had to turn down $50 million and leave, go to a completely different continent over people laughing at his expense rather than with us in the social commentary he was doing.
But are they doing the skits though? Or is it just him up there doing the jokes?
They're not even like in control of the narrative. At least Dave Chappelle with the Chappelle Show had the ability to control and shape the narrative. While here, like remember he could play.
Not really.
Not yeah.
That's why he left.
He wasn't truly controlling the narrative.
He didn't just leave because of like the white people laughing at him. He left because they were trying to. He had white people writing black jokes. They didn't hire people that he wanted in the writing room with him. They were going to, I don't want to say whiteify, but make a parody of what his black show about black culture was for a more wider audience. That's what led him into thinking these white people are laughing at me because these jokes aren't written for the black community to relate to. They're written for a black man to play out to entertain those white folks over there with this over the top black people shit.
Yeah, but you still kind of had the same thing with this special where it's not like he had.
With this special, he has full control. Yeah. This is him. I'm gonna tell you what I think his message was with this special. His whole idea is gay people are getting all of this attention, all of this help now, all of this support, but there's still black people dying in the streets with no news coverage. Yeah. There's still young black women being taken and never seen again. There's still very public disregard for the health, wellness, and well-being of black physical and mental health. Mm-hmm. And why aren't we receiving that? We're not saying we don't accept y'all over here. We do, we get it. But you can't be mad at us for saying, damn, it took Asians 45 days to get a bill. Y'all getting everything that y'all are asking for to the point where you can't even say anything bad about a gay person. But you killed this brother in the street. No one gives a fuck. That's a problem. That's just my belief of where he was going with this comedy special. This whole his comedy specials as of late. After his first, like, Where Have I Been? Everything else after that has been him taking what's going on right now and saying, oh yeah, that's cool, that's all that. I get it, yeah, y'all deserve love, but why would we got out of here? But they still take us as a joke.
Yeah, but when he phrases it that way, it's again a straights versus gay or trans, and it's in a way that's not intersectional. It's not, because again, the same way that Black people are being shot in the street, Black people are being killed, same way Black people are being denied healthcare, Black people aren't getting certain bills. You still have Black, queer, and trans people in the middle of that as being denied by one community and denied by the other community as well. That exists in that interest.
Being real, being real, is in 2021, the Black community does not have a problem with gay people. I don't even know why that. I'm gonna be real. I don't even know why that narrative. I'm gonna tell you this. When I can go on the block in the hoods of America, and I travel a lot, I can go to the blocks in the hoods of America and see these dudes glicked up, street everything, and there's a homie there. Gay is all outdoors, cooling and kicking it, a couple of them, and no one is like, oh nah, keep that gay shit over there, homie. Keep that over there. Like, yes, there's still a loud minority, but realistically, we don't give a fuck. If you ain't fucking us, you know what I'm saying? That's how they looking at it. You're not fucking us. We not taking that dick. We not none of that. So do what you do.
Well, I must have like that loud minority down my timeline because for some reason,
there's a loud minority. And to be real,
there.
That loud minority, one thing I've learned is really not even, their message is totally opposite of what they're spewing. These same people that'll say, why you gotta be all gay? You got gay porn in your phone, bro. Like,
but that's
you know what I'm saying? Like,
when we talk about though, that's the thing we're talking about, because
that message is going to hit home for a few people watching.
But let me just say this though. I don't think that the Black community has a total hatred for gay people, especially at this point. But it, like I said, loud minority. But also, I will say this: I had an incident when I was working as I was externing as a vet assistant, and the guy didn't know that I was actually bi. He just thought I was just some straight girl. He said to me that he could smell me on my period. And I know that he said this because I was talking to the guy that he liked. I believe this is the reason, because I was really nice to him, checked on him when he hurt his knee, told him his Yeezys were cute, even though I don't even like Yeezys. And it was out of the blue, and everybody kind of looked like, what the hell did he just say to her? Because it's like, I've been nice to you. I come here and you do things. Like, some gay people do things, and I can see kind of why a lot of people have, that tension.
It's their fault.
Because y'all come at, especially women. And one thing, I don't have periods. I take hormones where I don't have them. Okay? This coochie don't bleed like that. So it was so derogatory for a man to say.
It's a defense mechanism, though.
Yeah,
that's
but dude was gay. Like, I knew the man was gay.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, this is why.
That's it. Games and Twitch.
Like, I understand gay people and their issues, but they don't have room to complain.
Because y'all do things. I will say my man does stuff.
But what they're doing is they have to compete with you. They have to, they're in their minds. They don't have to, but in their minds, they have to say, biologically, that man wants pussy. But his heart is saying he wants to feel what I'm about. I have to feel that at all times I'm better than that woman's choice. So it's a defense mechanism.
Well, it should have been a defense mechanism if we all knew that. I knew every man in that office was gay. Every man in that office was gay. I wasn't even looking to find somebody in the office that's like, I'm here to work. I'm here to learn so I can graduate. That's what I'm here for. And it was like, just because I'm talking to this man about gaming, I'm consoling him. He just lost his best friend. Like I'm sitting here like, dude, like, believe it or not, a week ago, I lost my friends to domestic violence. Like, I'm just trying to be nice. Nope. It's like, and he's gay. And then he even made a mention of he was going to be at the guy's house that weekend. So I already figured in my mind, okay, this, they talking cool, cute, okay, little, office romance. I wasn't into. So it's like sometimes the community can be very rough, and it can cause people to be an asshole towards them and think that every single one of them is a butthole.
I mean, you get that when you have to live your life lying to yourself and the others. That does something to you mentally. That'll break your psyche into two. And it'll be hard to to reform that psyche to be right. And this is where you get a lot of gay people having that hostile. This is why they equate being gay to being a snake, to being a deceiver. And it's bad, but this is where the concept comes from, because you hate yourself so much. The people that you see accept that they're gay and accept that they're happy gay don't do that. Yeah, someone can be good.
No, I was gonna say, that also comes from not growing up. Like, how many gay people or queer people have had to like lose family members, lose support systems when they finally came out? So like, there could be. I mean, especially if you look at the ballroom like culture, everything like that, there is room for being catty, being shady, but it's also supposed to be a community that understands that like sometimes you gotta be like, same thing with Black people and same thing with when we defend like a lot of the hypermasculinity or energy that we have in the Black community. It could be the same thing of like, listen, sometimes we need to be tough in certain situations because we might be in spaces that ain't always welcoming to us.
Well, he didn't have to be like that in that situation, because I didn't.
Yeah, but being tough.
Like, if it's not provoked, if I'm not talking to you, you don't need to say shit to me. Yeah. Period. That's also
observing as a male. So that's another thing of these are different levels of oppression competing. And like when we talk about these subjects, it's always important to keep that intersectionality in mind. You can be excelling in one area. For example, as Black men, we have male privilege, but at the same time, being Black is still something that is oppressive when we're dealing with this patriarchal white supremacy.
You think we have Black male privilege?
Over Black women, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
I will say, I will say
no.
Let me say
this. You know how quickly we will get canceled if we say some shit about Black women today, right now. Right now.
Girl.
And everything.
She can say, you know what? You both right now say.
Privilege.
Hold on, Pedii. You both right now can say. Both of y'all can say, I hate niggas. Niggas ain't shit. They ain't nothing. But you could. And you know what would happen? A bunch of Black women, girl, you better preach. Yes, Lord, niggas ain't shit.
But y'all can get away with too much.
But let a man say, I can't stand you bitches. Oh, he's canceled. Get him off my screen. He's terrible. He's misogynistic. You see this tweet he made 37 years ago? Get him off. We do not have male privilege.
Yeah.
Okay, probably not in the way that you're thinking, but let's be real. Y'all do get paid more than us. I have seen it happen. Let's be real. Working at Trader Joe's, I constantly did not get my raise, but other people, man, got their damn raise.
You're taking an entry level.
They are paid more than the starting off.
Listen, you're taking an entry level area.
No, that's
in the corporate world, Black women are making more than Black men. And this is why. Because
it should
they
also,
want to separate that.
They should still give us the same pay.
No, I'm gonna tell you why that makes no sense. I'm gonna tell you why that makes no sense.
We have to buy tampons. We got to buy pads. We have to buy more than what y'all got to buy. Let's be real.
What is okay? Listen, let me ask you this:
Pink razors, the pink tats.
y'all are strong women, right? Y'all are strong women, right? Very strong women. Y'all were raised to be strong women, right? Y'all mother instilled in y'all to be strong women, right? To be in that house, making sure your man is good, making sure you taking care of your duties as a strong woman, right? What did she tell y'all a man is supposed to do?
He's supposed to be strong. He's supposed to
go and get it, bring home the bacon, right?
Yeah.
So
well, no, okay, well,
hold on, let me finish. No.
I'm just saying, not in mine though.
So they didn't teach y'all that the
y'all both kind of divide everything. So your
mama never taught you this man is supposed to go out there and put his boots in the ground.
You both better.
You better be.
Oh yeah, no. You in this day and age, yeah.
She was in
Did your daddy let your mama? Did your daddy let your mama have to lift a finger? Or did he get up and say, you know what?
No.
What? My mom actually made more than my dad.
My mom was
a real estate broker.
I was not raised like that.
Let's be real.
I've never heard that. My grandma.
I mean, only because my mom was in real estate. Like my dad was a business manager.
My grandmama, I was raised by my grandma. My grandmama and my grandfather. My grandfather my grandfather's a military vet.
Okay.
Made good money, got paralyzed, whole left side. Mm-hmm. My grandmother was the breadwinner. You know what I'm saying? Because he's paralyzed, he couldn't really, you know what I'm saying? He lived on the checks was good, but she was like, we need a bag. Yeah. So she still went out there to go get it. But you know what she instilled in me as a man? You never, ever, if you have the ability, let your woman lift a finger. If she wants to work, cool. But you have her, if she wants to stay at home, she wants to teach, learn, and you know what I'm saying, raise the family, that's what she's there for. So this is why I say for entry-level jobs, women should not be paid more than men.
I think
but
they should.
Because it's the man's job to get his hands dirty. Listen, it's the man's job.
Boxes. They pay more. Okay, and I have a disability. Okay.
If the man,
he's just sitting there like,
you got a disability, so you gonna wanna lift up boxes, get your hands all dirty all day for probably $1 or $2 extra on $17.99.
As long as I'm being paid the same as my counterparts, yeah.
Or would you rather have it easier for yourself to get these higher positions because you are a woman and because in the corporate world they believe women are more scientifically analytical when it comes to business than men are? This is why you get a lot of women in those positions. And this is why they get paid more. The men are really, no matter what, people look at men as the grunt workers and the women as the brains of the operation. So I believe that no woman should be doing grunt work. So if you want to do grunt work to start out, cool.
I'm done.
Good, but you should let the man do the grunt work. You get up here in this office, kick your feet up, sign these papers, write these checks. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I see it.
Well, that's why I don't have that issue. That's why I work for myself.
This past year, November, to be able to not really have to work. I get to stay home. But that's because I have a son, he's about to be 3 next month. He gets seizures. He gets the fever seizures once a year, and it's usually around. And because I had nobody here to watch him or anything, I had to step back. Luckily, starting to begin this year, my husband was able to get a really good trucking job. So but we're separated. I mean, we're married. But
a girl for a second. I was like, wait, you ain't tell me that.
No, I get it. He on the road. Don't say he's separated. Say he's getting the bag.
Yeah,
he's going out getting the
working.
He's doing the grunt work.
But I'm not separated. Separate, girl. You scared the crap out of me.
He's doing the grunt work.
No, but we're practically because
No,
he only comes down once a month if I'm lucky for one day. So I'm barely seeing him.
I mean, call it a long distance relationship.
It's a long distance
Yeah,
relationship,
that's
a
not
very long
bad.
distance relationship.
Or just say he on the road getting the bag. That's all. He on the road. He's bringing home the bacon.
Yes, when we first got married, I asked him to get into the military. He kept saying no, he didn't want to miss the kids anything. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I worked at Hardee's for 9 years, letting him figure out what jobs he wanted to do, figure out what he wanted to do with life. Because I have my middle child, she has a disability, and she has Noonan syndrome. So she had to go to doctors a lot, and I will have to call out because she just threw up or something. And so I had to stay back and be, the breadwinner, holding everything down while he went out and figure out what he wanted to do with life. And finally he did, but it's taking him far away from family. And it's like, that's not what I wanted. And it's just really annoying.
Okay.
But
so
back to compensation.
Yeah, let's actually sway this to Howard, because we're kind of running out of time here. We're kind of going overtime, but I do want to get to all the topics here. I am disappointed in my mother's alma mater. My mama got her bachelor's from Howard. She got her master's from Howard. I was going to go to Howard.
What happened? Exactly.
So
I know Lil Durk had a trash ass concert.
No, this ain't got nothing to do with that concert. This has everything to do with the fact that Blackburn dorms are filled with mold and they're not doing anything for the students. They're sitting, sleeping, trying to do their homework in tents outside. It's getting cold. And this is just disappointing because all the money that Howard is getting from these kids, well, no, what? These aren't kids. These are grown adults. These grown adults that are going to this school should not have to be going to the hospital. The girl said about 9 students in her dorm has gone to the hospital because they were coughing up blood. That is disappointing because you're supposed to be, the big time HBCU, Howard, HU. Like, come on, y'all Bisons. What are we doing? This is
where are they gonna put him? Let me ask that question first. Where are they gonna put him? Because
put them in a hotel, put them somewhere, but don't have these kids outside in tents. They didn't have Wi-Fi to do their work. This is not what college experience should be.
No, but I would assume that they would, because there's a lot of construction going on over there by Howard. I would assume that that's them working on the problem. Because I was wondering why I saw a lot of because it seemed like they're building more housing over there.
Blackburn is on the campus. We're talking about the campus.
I know, but I feel like because they're building all this housing, they're going to shut down a lot of the in-school, on-campus housing. No. And I would hope that if that's the issue, that Blackburn is one of the places. I'm being a wishful thinker.
They are. But this is not the first time that Howard has been under scandal, at all. They had the FAFSA scandal. What was that, 10 years ago, where that person was taking all the money? Is it happening again? And they're not saying anything. Tell these people that their money is not being used for infrastructure. All they have to do is literally pay the people who get rid of mold to just do the thing and get it done. Maybe they might be gone for a month. House them for a month and get it done. Don't have
not a problem yet. It's a problem community-wise, and it's a problem for the students in there. But monetarily, even though it's an HBCU, that's awesome. It's a school for Black people.
Not even just that it's an HBCU. It's supposed to be one of the top schools, period.
But that's cool. That doesn't mean it's still a top school for niggas. It's the top school in the middle of the hood. Think about where it's at. It's on Georgia Avenue. I'm not lying. My family stay right around the corner. There's shootings on my people's block every day. It's right in the middle of the hood.
But
of course they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they really, because when you look at their last fiscal year in 2020, they took in nearly $900 million, nearly $1 billion in revenue. And we're talking about in 2020, the time period where they really didn't have students on campus, where they, yeah, they couldn't have been doing all, because mold don't grow overnight. Mold, rats, roaches, they don't pop up in your building overnight.
Like, have y'all seen the picture of the dresser with the mold in it? The dresser.
Oh, they broke into it all that.
A picture up.
I'm gonna get the picture. I'm gonna get the trailer and I'm gonna get the picture because that it was nasty. It was nasty, and they should be disappointed.
But I've always thought like that though. Like as far as I hate putting everything with race, but as I've gotten older, because I'm gonna be real, I didn't used to see race as a thing growing up. I only grew up around Black people, so I didn't really deal with racism in that regard. As far as the police were concerned growing up, all the police were always white, except for the occasional Black one. So it was, my racism was the police. I didn't like experience actual systemic and cultural and public racism until I became an adult. But now seeing it as an adult, it's like it literally is. Everything is about race, and the reason this is why a lot of stuff that we feel is like you said, Howard's one of the top schools in the country. But realistically, if it was one of the top schools in the country, you don't hear anything about Princeton and Yale's. You don't hear that the grass is cut off. But one of the top schools in the country has a vicious mold problem. No, it's not a top school in the country. It's made to sound good so Black people won't be saying nothing about the disparity in school.
You know, I didn't say it was the top. It's one of them.
But it's also a matter of capitalism. Like we talk about, like how capitalism intersects with racism, and for them to be out here just pulling profit, in spite of the fact that you would think that they'd be concerned with the mold just off of liability, just off of the potential of lawsuits, but they're willing to sacrifice their students' lives, even as the pinnacle of like representing HBCUs, all for the sake of pulling in profit. Like right now, Congress with the whole Build Back Better bill, they're thinking about throwing more money for HBCUs because of this. But at the same time, it was four-year universities who were lobbying Congress to get rid of the whole idea of a 2-year free community college tuition to protect their own financial interests. So all of this is happening at the same time that like that is being killed, and that these schools are like tweeting out, "Hey, fuck all that shit about Blackburn takeover. How about Howard homecoming? Y'all want a party, right? Y'all niggas, right? Y'all like performances, like." So we gotta remember capitalism and its intersection with racism. That like, just like Suge said, yes, this is supposed to be one of the top schools, but because it's one of the top Black schools, and of course, all types of extrapolation of wealth happens with all, especially top colleges, all Ivy League schools. But with this school, it's allowed to happen, and for it to be this ghetto, to be this like we in the fucking ghetto with it, but we still want to be board and all that shit.
We in the fucking ghetto with it.
And
did you know?
Hard.
Did you know that some of their housing dorms for Howard actually fall into I forgot the name of the neighborhood. It's something, huh?
Shaw.
No, there's a hood there. I forgot the name of the hood, but their housing. Oh, shit. Yeah, their housing falls. I used to deal with a girl that lives over there. That's how I know about it. She was like, yeah, some of these houses belong to Howard. Mm-hmm. Then you got the houses on Gresham and all of like these are houses in the hood that they put
It's
students.
not Lincoln Park. That's a band. It's something park.
Nah, it's not. It's not Lincoln Park. It's like it's close to that though. It's very close to that. It's like
something park. I know what you're talking. Oh damn it! Because my
it's like L. They were just called like L Dub something.
Yeah.
Like L Dub something. And like they have a lot of issues over there. You know what I'm saying? You get a lot of issues with like Howard students being robbed, which does not get reported at all.
I think in my lifetime, I probably heard of like maybe 2 instances on the news of Howard students getting robbed. Mm-hmm.
Full disclosure, I have robbed a lot of Howard students in my younger years. This is how I know it doesn't make the news.
Well, don't say that out loud.
I apologize.
I never had to deal with that issue since I was a military brat. So
it was all men, able-bodied. I never did women, never did old folks. It's always men. Never pulled out a weapon with strong arm with the fist old school. Yeah, nah, really. Back in the day, I had rules. Women, old folks, children, no weapons.
Yeah.
Those are my rules. Only men, if you can defend yourself, you can keep it. That's how I used to be. So I know that they don't report it for the news. And if I'm out and I know that used to be like a weekly occurrence. For like a year straight. So that's at a minimum 52 people. None of us made the news. I'm not the only guy at that age range that thought like that. I'm 30 now. This is when I was like 17, 18, 19. I know I wasn't the only one thinking like that. And I'm coming from the other side of town. I'm coming from the south side, going all the way up there to do my thing. So I know people that live over there thinking the same thing. How much of that is not being put on the news? How much is that? Like, it's a lot of crime over there. But because it's a HBCU and they need that imagery, they don't tell you that. A lot of females that go to Howard that come from out of state, they'll tell you, I didn't know this is where we was at. It's like this over here? Yes, ma'am. It's like this over here. It's not good. And they don't care. They'll make the streets look good, the buildings outside the streets, but on the actual campus where only really the students see, they don't really give a fuck. They make what the public sees when you drive by Howard Homecoming, all that. They make that look pretty. But them actual I know that they've never really cared about that. Only thing I would say is they build more housing over there to house more students. But even with those, I don't even think those are really as good as they can make them with all the money they pay.
Okay, well, anybody else got anything to say on this topic before we go to the next one? Or to our last one, actually.
Hurry up and build them, clean those apartments and dorms and shit.
Yeah, facts. Can't be hiring Lil Durk to give you half a concert and you can't clean up the mold.
Yep, thank you.
Terrible.
People don't do that.
Wait, we can't hear you, Tristan.
Again, lovely. No, I mean, but that's what you're gonna get. Lil Durk giving you half a performance.
Yeah, he walked right off the stage. Like, look, we out here. We don't give a fuck about Lil Durk. We don't even talk about Lil Durk. We don't. Lil Durk should have said, you know what? I'ma clean the mold out to Blackburn building. That's what he should have done.
I'm gonna tell you what I
He
heard.
walked past some people in them tents. He walked past them.
Now look, people were more interested in Fat Trail performance at Howard Homecoming than Durk. That's why he left. Cause Fat Trail came home. Shout out to my homie Trail. I love you, boy. He came home. So I think that's what they're saying it was. The crowd went crazy for him. And Durk came out, was like, yeah, and it was like, nah, we can't chant.
But he still should have, he would have won them over if he said, I'm gonna clean up Blackburn for you. Now listen to my song. Like,
yeah, he got like 2 more songs out of that. And then they'd say, all right, get off stage, get to work, champ. He'd go to Brush, he'd go to Lysol, he'd go to Bleach. We got you. Get up in there, DJ, we good.
All right. Okay, so our last topic is about
Something in the water. So down Virginia Beach, which is where I'm at, Pharrell, this is his hometown, and to help with the racism and the, how everybody's like separated and everything, he threw this concert, and they had like big names come in and perform for 2 days. And this was, I believe, in 2019 they did it. So this year, the mayor of Virginia Beach went out and asked him, "Hey, are you going to do it for 2022?" He completely denied it. He said, "No, there's too much toxic energy here," because his cousin got killed, I believe, back in May.
Yeah.
So, and he got shot by a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
They still have not done anything.
Yeah.
And Pharrell did not like that because he's like, he's for everybody getting along and trying to fight that. He did do had a meeting last night. I don't watch the news because it's so full of crap, so I didn't get to watch it or see it. But I'll update next week. But it's bad, and not only that, but Virginia Beach, we don't know what's going on with the city, but we have lost 3 of our major money-making events. We have lost something to water. We have a marathon that we lost, and it's been here since the beginning, like when they first started, and they're moving it. They're like, nope, we'd rather go to somewhere else. The Patriot concert that we usually have down here, they're actually moving it to the city next door, Norfolk, because something's going on, and with the police and everything, and even like I hate the police around here. They're really bad. Some of them are bad. I did have one lady. I get panic attacks anytime I pull over. I don't get pulled over often, but it gets really bad, my anxiety. And I got pulled over about a month or 2 ago because my inspection sticker was bad. I'm sorry. But I started breaking down. Like I started breathing. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because the last 2 times, the first time I had an asthma attack, I was trying to hurry up and make it home to get my inhaler. And this police officer followed me about 8 miles down the street before he turned on his lights. And I was turning into my neighborhood when he turned on his lights and told me to calm down. Everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, I'm having follow me home. Like, I'm trying to tell him, I'm having an asthma attack. The second time I got pulled over was, so the Virginia Beach is huge. It is one of the largest cities on the East Coast. And so you got town center, you got, we call it different areas, different names because that's how big it is. We got Sandbridge, we got the oceanfront, we got town center, we have Pongo. Like depending where you want, if you want to go to the country, you could go to Pongo. Or if you want to go to the ocean, Sandbridge, oceanfront. It just depends where you want to go. Well, I was coming back from the oceanfront on a street that I never went before. And it divides, and I did not know that. So one had a big H sign for hospital, right? So I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to take that street. I don't need to go to the hospital. I'm just trying to get down the other street. So the guy pulled me over, and okay, you pull me over, whatever. But he had me standing out in the rain. I was pregnant at the time. Told me, he goes, "Are you drunk?"
And you're clearly pregnant though.
I'm pregnant. I gotta use the bathroom, and it's in the rain at night. I had 2 black guys and a white guy in the back of my car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about white. I'm sorry. About white. It's
And so since then, I've always had anxiety. Yeah. So when I did finally get pulled over for my inspection sticker, the guy told me, he goes, "Calm down. You'll be okay." And it was an Asian and black guy. The black guy, he didn't really say nothing. It was the Asian, and I'm like, is this what they teach people? Like, you see them stressing out, you don't tell them, calm down.
No,
And
that's not what they teach you.
then the guy forgot my license. He forgot to give me back my license. So I'm driving down, and his lights come on again. I lost it. Like, what else did I do? Like, did I do something? I don't think I did anything. I'm usually a very straight arrow person. What the hell? And I'm crying. And Tyray's like, it's gonna be okay. The guy's like, I am so sorry, but I forgot to give you your license. And I'm like, he's like, it's okay. You can take we're gonna be behind you. And I'm like, no, just go. I just need a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I know it sounds stupid,
That's
but
why I don't want to go to Virginia. Like, well, I ain't gonna say that on camera, but I don't want to live in Virginia.
No,
Like,
don't.
period. I don't. No.
Because some of the stories, like even from some of my friends.
Hey, baby.
What's up, little guy?
Hi.
This is my baby girl. Sorry. You can edit it out.
Glasses.
Baby. He's probably like, I do not remember her.
Yeah, I need you to go.
Bye, honey bun.
Okay. I don't want to go.
Okay. But that's why I don't want to go there.
It depends where you go. Even like, and my last name is like as white as you could get.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry, girl, but yeah.
Come on, Kraus. Does that sound like a black person name or a Hispanic? No.
That's very German.
Yeah. That's another story for another day, but
but you know what? Going back to Pharrell's cousin, the police officer that shot him was his friend.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you knew that man, and you pulled your gun out. You're his childhood friend, and you shot him.
Yep.
That's when I'm like, like, how can you trust the people that you grew up with that have become police officers? I mean, I've seen people I've gone to school with that.
Police officers as black people. That's what always puzzled me about black people specifically. We just have this belief that somehow, some way, we can one day become cool with the police when they were created as a force against us. Mm-hmm. It was in their code of conduct to treat us like animals, to chase us down, to whip, to harm us. It will never, ever be, we will never have camaraderie with the police because it is ingrained in the DNA of blue bloods.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I found out about a year ago. No, actually a couple months ago. I was searching for, to pay off my ticket and everything. So I identify more as Hispanic because my mother is Hispanic and I never knew my dad. So I am more towards my Hispanic.
That's right.
So I never knew. So when I was looking at it, it has me identify as straight up black. And I'm like, yes, I am black. I am proud to be black, but I am mixed.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put down something, please put down mixed because I'm not one thing. Yeah. I am multiple.
And I can understand that.
So it's not that like, I'm saying, oh, I hate being black. No, I'm like, because now I know why, like, if my name is on my car or associated with whatever, if they run that through, it's going to straight up say black. It's going to say straight up, hey, I could be a threat to you. And I don't think, I'm sorry, but I don't really think that there should be race. Like,
yeah, I've never understood that either. Why do you need race on a fucking application?
I mean, when you if you type in the name and it pops up the picture, that should be good enough.
But you don't even need it. Why do you need to know my race for me to work a job?
Yep.
That's a question no one really asks. What is the purpose? Like this, I stopped working jobs 2.5 years ago. I wanted to be a chef. I'm a really good cook. And you know, my cooking is amazing. She sees it all the time. On my Facebook, I post a lot of great pics.
Yes.
But I want to be a chef. And I'm gonna tell you what turned me off about it. I cannot work in an environment, one, where I feel as though I'm smarter than the person above me. Two, I cannot work with someone with a superiority complex. If you feel like you have to prove you're better than me, I don't want to play with you. It's like that. I don't want to play. Because that means that you don't think you're better than me. So I stopped working because I was working for this lady and I forgot her name and I wouldn't give her the promotion even if she owned a place, and the place she owned, food is amazing. Well, I was cooking it, so it was amazing. But she felt the need to assert her female white dominance over me and a lot of the employees. She didn't know a lick about cooking at all. She knew how to run an establishment, but she couldn't cook for shit. But she would always throw in how, look, I know that you need the time. You should be more prepared for work. This is that. Because I would come to work and I would tell her, I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone. Once we got to a point where her attitude and my belief that I'm not going to be disrespected, she came to me one day and she said, look, I could just have you back on the street selling drugs like the rest of your people.
Wow.
Oh, hell no.
I left that day. I left that. I left that day and I had told her something before I left. I said, I make more money running my own business because I actually run a business. I've taken what I've learned from the streets and applied it to what I want to do. But I told her, I said, I make more money from running a business than I do working with you. I don't need this job and I will never need this job. So you can go ahead and take me off, call one of the little, but I actually called COVID from her job as well. Just a little tangent out there. Don't want to use buzzwords. Yeah. 2019, long story short, one of the employees does drugs. He went to Manhattan to score some drugs. Manhattan happened to be ground fucking zero for COVID.
Wait, you're saying in 2019 or 2020?
This is December 2019.
Okay.
Right.
It was ground fucking zero.
Yeah, because
he was sick himself and he thought it was the drugs. He came to work and was just all over the place. And I'm like, all right, Cooper, just go home. I got it. I sent him home. And long story short, after Christmas, I had to go to the hospital. And I've never had to go to the hospital for a cold or sneeze. So this was different. Come to find out later on that I went through COVID. So I'm never ever going to say COVID isn't real. You will never hear me say that. But back to the point, I believe that they put race on job applications to know how to treat you.
Or how much.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, and I don't think it's just for Black. Like for Indians, they get treated disrespectful.
I think we can't hear you.
Who, me?
No, I'm sorry. I'm pointing down-ish.
Yeah, down is somebody else.
That's on my screen. That's Karina.
Okay, on mine, it literally looks like how our.
I just.
I'm sorry. But what were you trying to say though?
Oh no, I was just agreeing that, like, yeah, the only reason they put those type of things on there is so that they can know whether or not they should even bother hiring you, how much to hire you for, how to treat you for the job if they're gonna take you on. And I mean, especially everything going on with from George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Donovan Lynch, Pharrell's cousin, it's more of an indictment of when we say ACAB, it's not that no cops can be good to you. It's just a matter that the institution as it exists does not serve us, and why we need to either defund or abolish it because it has way too much power over our lives.
Yeah.
And when even people that you knew growing up can be like, you know what? If it's beef, then goodbye. Like, what are they gonna do? arrest me, lock me up. Okay.
There's no true punishment for police officers when
Okay.
they do go off the deep end or go to, or because there are some good cops that do have accidents. They didn't mean to, and it just
Happened.
But there are other cops that are like, I don't like the way you breathe on me at this moment. I'm gonna get you.
Karina, can I ask you a question?
Girl, but you're right. It's true. Somebody could just, and it's like, like I'm gonna be honest. Like me and my ex, we had the dog, and one day we went to the dog park, right? And I just remember like these police officers being there, and it was just so frightening. Cause like the male police officer, he came out of the truck. Cause like I don't even know why police officers were in my neighborhood, because they don't really be here like that. Nothing happens here. So it's like, why y'all here? And I remember us feeling so uncomfortable. Cause he was a black man, 6 feet, locks. So he's the target. And when he did come up to us, he's like, "Hey, I really like your dog. What kind of dog is that?" I told him, she's Jack Russell Hound mix, but it was so nerve wracking because it was like the way you watched us.
Especially after what happened to George. Like I cried that when I had my son, I cried. I cried so hard because my son came out really, really white. He's like, really, really? I thought I had the wrong kid white.
Girl, stop.
His hair was blonde. Okay.
Yeah.
Blonde. He has like really light brown eyes. So there was no like, dude, do we look alike at all? He got my nose though. But I'm like, what happened if, I'm driving and I get pulled over, he's in the back? Are they going to think that I stole the kid? Are they going to, and that's something that, because when I go to the store sometimes, I have people asking me, oh, wow, how much do you charge to watch the baby? And I'm like, I wish I got paid, but this is my kid, like, and they look at me like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, this is your kid that you're watching. And I'm like, no. So it's something like, and having to tell my two daughters who is really, they don't really go outside. They don't really get to interact with a lot of Black people or white people or any of that. They're very sheltered. And I'm like, how do I tell them, hey, if this happens, this is what you need to do. If this happens, this is possibly what could happen. And it's just something I hate to say that we have to teach our kids that, because I shouldn't have to be like, hey, the people that are supposed to protect you, you have to be scared of them.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to ask you a question, right, before I go into this.
Yeah.
Can you be an angel in hell?
Yeah.
Yes. Isn't the devil an angel?
Yes.
No.
Satan is an angel, right?
Fallen.
The devil is a tortured soul.
What about Satan? Okay, Satan.
Lucifer is an angel.
Lucifer.
They say that he's there. So you believe that you can live? Well, not you per se, but if you were an angel, that hell is a viable place for you, and you can remain an angel.
Corrupt you. No, this is some corrupt.
I know. I've met too many angels that have gone to hell.
Yeah.
I've been victim of numerous, and when I say, I'm talking in the high double digits of police brutality. And I don't mean like, okay, I was doing something, they tried to arrest me and I tried to resist. I mean like literally just cooling. Police come up, they try to start a problem to get you to jump out there because you're young, you're Black, you're in a certain area. If you jump out there, you're gonna get whooped. I've been whooped at the court building by the U.S. Marshals. There's a whole culture at that court building in DC, where if you get on the U.S. Marshals bad side, it's called horsing around. That's the actual term for it, horsing around. They will handcuff you, bend over, hands between your legs, handcuff you to the cell, like sitting like an animal, and just beat you, and then take you to the courtroom and be like, you failed. And the judges will do nothing about it. I have never in my life met a good cop. And I've met cops that have done good things. I have met cops that have helped people. I have met cops that have solved cases and locked up murderers, but I've never met a good cop. And I say that because to know, especially as a Black man, what the police stand for, what they were created to do, what that culture has been. There's nothing that shows in history that that culture has ever actually changed. And you think that you're going to get on this force as one person and change hundreds of years of indoctrination? Right. There's a reason why the police have a fraternity the way that they do and are built to protect themselves the way that they do. So the people aren't going to agree with this, but this is what we were put here to do. This is what we're going to do. So when I hear the all cops are bad movement, I completely support it. I don't understand how. My brother wants to be a police officer. I love him to death. And I tell him, you won't be a good cop. Like, why won't I be? Because you're going to have to do something that goes against who you are as a good person.
Yeah.
And are you willing to lose your job that you worked hard for to not be able to take care of your family to be a good person? Or are you going to have to look the other way to be a good cop?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you can be a cop and do good things, but if you are a good person, it is impossible to be a good cop because they don't exist. Yeah, they don't. If there was at least in every precinct, if there were about 5 or 6 what people consider good cops, you know how many investigations there would be? Yeah. Just 5 or 6. There would be hundreds upon hundreds of cases reopened, of officers investigated, because, man, I remember, look, he wasn't supposed to bother this young Black dude. Yes, technically he did do this. He did assault this officer, but it was because of this officer antagonizing, making this young brother lash out in violence to protect himself. Mm-hmm. Or even, it's just so much. If there was just 5 or 6 actual what you consider good cops, there wouldn't be a cop force. There wouldn't be a police force, because they would either have to kill those good cops or watch their whole infrastructure fall. And the police make money. Yep. They do not give a fuck about the average person. The police makes money. That is a multi-billion-dollar business.
Oh yeah, because I actually did a report in college on the school to prison pipeline. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It definitely is a business. It's so sad. It's really unfortunate what they actually do, especially in like urban areas, with not giving them as many resources. So now they can't learn and they get frustrated. And
it's literally the same thing in jails and prisons. White prisons, higher class kids, they got everything you need, cell phones, PS5s. You can't even get a PS5 on the street. They got them over there. They got cell phones, 4K TVs in the cell, all of that. But you go to a regular fed that's geared towards the regular Black criminal, the regular Hispanic criminal, the regular person of color criminal. You go to that fed, no, there's drugs, guns, alcohol, fried chicken, prostitute. It's the same thing. And then when you look at it from a school standpoint, they purposely don't give inner city schools that as a social experiment. They want to see if they can cultivate Black anger. Yeah. And when it becomes obvious that's what you're doing, okay, cool, boom. You know what I'm saying? But it's It's a lot we can get into. We'll get into
Yeah, we can definitely go back to this like in next episode. But is there anything anybody wants to promote right now, really quickly before we end this?
The not your normal discussion podcast for shit show.
Yay.
That's the shit show.
Any?
Go
ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this was dope. I appreciate y'all tuning in.
And I appreciate all of y'all. Like, thank you. Karina.
What's your business? No, I want to know what his food is. So when I do come to DC.
Oh, the food. She want to know your food.
Are you talking about Tristan or me?
Yeah,
you.
Me? Oh, no. Business doesn't have to do with food. I'm a marketer. I just cook just to have fun.
Well, I'm gonna be knocking at your house one of these days.
Oh, that's fine. Whenever, just let me know when you want to play.
By the way, it's 420 food. Or
not all the time. I cook regular food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
just so you know. Just so you know.
just you know.
Okay. Tristan.
Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Checking to be sure. Sure, you should definitely think about catering. If I was to promote anything, I'm working on stories. So check out on the lookout for that as we continue to do this podcast. I'll put some of that stuff out there. Yeah. I'm talking to y'all.
For me, I'm just gonna let y'all know what I do is I do Beachbody. And they do health stuff, and their stuff is very delicious. And
she's like, I got my stuff right here.
Let me know because they do on demand exercise. They got like thousands of videos. So check that out.
I might have to do that because Naima needs to. I don't have a gut, but I just want to get a little cheater, a little bit. But I have my book out about me and Rampet and her bond. You said what?
Links.
Yes. And
links. I need food pictures and some links.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll have everything in the YouTube description, all links, everything. But yes, I have my book out, Rampet's World, A Puppy Journey. It's about me and Rampet and her being my emotional support animal. And it's from her point of view. I have my blog, Queen Pedii Writes, and next month, basically I'm doing just fall stuff, maybe might cook a turkey on there. I don't know. Might do it. But yeah, that's basically what I have, All right. So thank you guys for watching us and being with us. And thank you guys for being with me and having the conversation. Man, this was awesome. But all right, Queen Pedii out.
Nita out.
Remember, take this stuff to heart.
Yeah.
Every last bit of it.
Definitely.
All right.
This is not your normal discussion where we talk about the hard topics uncensored. It's not your normal discussion.